It's time to roll for Turaco.
Welcome to Roll For Turaco. This is Frank, and I'm going to be making a basic fantasy box set.
I have the basic fantasy role playing game 4th edition. I just got this one in the mail. I already have a copy. I actually have 4 copies of the basic fantasy core rules, the 1st edition, 3rd edition, a coil bound for the 4th edition, and the soft cover. So I bought this one for my son. My kids were here for Thanksgiving break. During the time, we played Dungeons and Dragons. We played the Dragon of Iceberg Peak adventure that comes with the Essentials kit, but I used basic fantasy rules. And my oldest son, did like it, did enjoy it. And I just asked him, like, would you like to have this rule set for Christmas? He said, yeah. So I ordered him his own copy. And also the Adventure Anthology #1, so you can start playing some adventures and get some ideas. And I thought it would be great to put it in a box so you can have his own box set. And I have this box. It's a big clamshell type of box. There's nothing in here, it's empty. And this I got from a Kickstarter that I backed for a comic, Mavericks, and there was a whole bunch of stuff in here. I liked the box, so I kept it along with other stuff, but I kept the box separately. And up until now, I just had some miniatures in here, but I moved them. So what I'm gonna do is, I want to make a basic fantasy box set for my son. Basically, no pun intended, it's inspired by the D&D Essentials kit that comes with a lot of cool stuff. But I want to do a version of it that's basic fantasy and, something that I think my son would like. So I gave him his own set of RPG dice, and I included 3 extra D6s. So you got the 4th edition. You got the 4th edition core rule books. You got the Adventure Anthology, and he has his miniature. And this is a character that he created in our first game, Greg Eggnog. It's a magic user. After his visit, I made it on HeroForge.com. I bought the STL file and I had it 3D printed at the library. So now he has his own miniature. Greg doesn't seem to be fitting in the box, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to place him in a smaller gift box because I don't want it to break, especially the staff. It is very fragile. It actually has broken twice already, so I'm being very careful with it. In the main big box here, to make it a true basic fantasy starter kit, essentials kit, you decide. You decide what you want to call it. To make it a true box set, I'm going to include some character sheets that I'm going to print out from basicfantasy.org, and I'm also going to add some supplements. I don't want to give my son this plain looking box. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cover it in black electrical tape. Now I'll do that off screen, and I'm also going to add an image in the center. Here is the finished product. I made the dragon with a stencil, and I used some ink wash, ink, red. I think it was a reddish orange ink, a little bit of black, some yellow marker, and then I outlined it with a pen. Just a very simple dragon. Some of the electrical tape keeps wanting to come off, so might add a little bit of glue here. But let's look at the inside. Now I added some extra stuff. This is a basic fantasy character sheet, but what makes this one just different from the other character sheets is that it has the mechanics here on the back. So it's just a very simple guide of what to do. So I did include this extra. And here is the equipment packs. And you can find all this on basicfantasy.org. So the equipment packs here, I like this supplement. I like the packs that are listed here. The Equipment Emporium does have its own equipment packs, but they are different from this one. And this is the one that we used when we played. So I thought, my son would like this one. Now, maybe later on, if he does end up liking Basic Fantasy more and more, I will get him the Equipment Emporium and the field guides that has some extra monsters. But I do think that you do get some pretty cool monsters with just the Basic Fantasy core rulebook, especially the 4th edition, because it has Barklings and some other cool stuff in there. Now, this one I thought it would be useful for him. You can plot your adventure. You get plot hooks, adventure notes, NPCs met, notable deeds. You get the your adventure title, story synopsis. So I thought this will be cool for him to start writing his own adventures. And here's the character sheets that I included, not including this one. I thought this one he can use as a simple reference guide, but these are the ones he can actually use to start creating some characters. And there are 4 of these that I included. Here. Now these I had these printed out in multiples, and I only print out 2 pages. But these are pre-generated characters that you can also find on Basic Fantasy. I print out like this so I can get more on one sheet. These 8 pre-generated characters that I printed out are first level characters. There are higher levels, but I wanted to start my son off with beginner characters. So they're a little small, but you got your human magic user, Lucas, all his stats. Human fighter, Bork. I think all of these are male. My mistake. Aura is a female, and she's a human cleric. We also got Thoris, the dwarf fighter, and Darian. So he's a male fighter. You got an elf fighter magic user, Morningstar. And you got another human cleric and a halfling thief. I thought these would be good for him to use in a campaign, either to play them or just have them as NPCs. So that's not all. So this isn't Basic Fantasy. So I did cheat a little bit. This is Pocket Fantasy. Pocket Fantasy RPG. These are the basic rules. Although I did. So you got your rules. You got your 4 core character classes. Now I did cheat a little bit, and I printed out the extra classes. So I include these also. Got Bard, Ranger, Assassin, and Berserker. You got Gladiator, Necromancer, Martial Arts, Spell Sword, Druid, and Commander. So you got some extra classes there. You got an adventure plot generator and a dungeon generator. And here you have the monster table and monster abilities. So if he wants to play a quicker game or a simpler rule set, Pocket Fantasy, it only uses the D6 dice. I actually recommend that. So these are adventure hooks that come with Pocket Fantasy, with the bigger version. So you can choose from these scenarios. And so you got your setting, your adventure hook, your monsters, weak monsters, average monsters, tough monsters, bosses. So I thought that would be something that he could also enjoy. And that is the Basic Fantasy Essentials Kit, or Basic Fantasy Box Set, with some Pocket Fantasy included. This box set is done. It's finished. So I'm going to take it to my son this week, actually. I'm going to go visit him. But that's not all, because I did move some other stuff in here. So I got this nice little gift box. And this is where I house his miniature, Greg Eggnog. This is 5 centimeters tall. And at the library, they printed out an 8 centimeters tall because they were checking the sizes. So I like this one as a figurine he could have on display, and this one he can play with. And here, I'll show this. This is a seal. This is the Turaco seal, which I made. I have a Turaco stamp that I had custom made. This is the Turaco logo. The Turaco itself was made by a friend of mine. She designed it originally for the Turaco Creative Cast, and I've been using it for some other things. Roll For Turaco and the Turaco comics. So that's the seal. Let's move the Gregs here. So I did include a little pencil, a little notebook, which I wrote down his character sheet, which I have the full character sheet with me, plus a spell book that I made for him, but my son says he wants to keep those here so he won't lose them. And here is his dice. So you get the 3 D6s and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 dice set of these polyhedral dice. That's it. That's the entire kit. These are extras. But that's what I'm giving my son, and I hope he likes it. All right. So what do you think of the this Basic Fantasy box set? I know it's not very pretty. It's kind of rough. It's a little sticky here with the tape. This is what I cobbled together in a short amount of time, because I am going to be leaving soon. Actually, when I'm recording this, I'm leaving the next day, so he can have this that day. Let me know in the comments what you think, and will you be making your own Basic Fantasy starter set kit? This has been Frank Salazar, and don't forget to roll for Turaco. Don't forget to roll for Turaco. Subscribe.